You can improve the quality of your hip joints by getting to know your hip joints. You can improve the quality of your hip joints by improving your brain's map and understanding of where your hip joints are and the capabilities of your hip joints. If you find that you are one of those type of people where no matter what you've done, what you've tried in the past, you haven't been able to improve the way you feel within your hip joints, it might be because your understanding in your brain is not very clear as to how that joint operates and functions. So this video is going to help you improve upon your brain's map of hip functionality. Once you have a good understanding of how the joint actually moves, you move it better. We need to map out systems in our brain that give us clear understanding of how our joints move. And the way to create that clear understanding is through experience and sensation. So you pretty much need to practice doing a movement so that your brain has a visualization of how the joint function. When your brain doesn't have a visualization of how a certain joint functions, that joint will oftentimes feel as though it lacks flexibility and mobility. But in reality, you're actually just lacking an understanding in your mind. And a lot of times that's just due to the fact that you haven't moved that way. You have never learned to move that way, which brings me to my next point. The best way to learn something is without force. If you're trying to learn how to move a joint better, you want to learn how to move that joint better in a way that feels nice, in a way that moves the joint with high quality. You want to gain an understanding of how to move your joints in a pleasant way so that when you are addressing your pattern of movement, you are not reinforcing a pattern that feels uncomfortable, because that will easily become a habit. This video is easily done laying down on your back. You can even do this laying down in bed. I just recommend not having too much head support. A thin pillow or a folded up towel is fine, but make sure you're not propping your head up. We're trying to keep the spine in a pretty leveled position. So that's why oftentimes I would just recommend a comfortable mat on the floor, or do it on the bed. But like I said, don't put too much support under your head. You don't need to be a perfectionist. I truly think you're perfect the way you are. I'm just here to help facilitate you in improving upon the way you move and upon your understanding of how your joints move and what's capable within you. You know what's capable when you only do what's easy. So remember, only do what's easy. Only do what feels very smooth, very buttery-like within you. We are going to be laying down onto the back, holding on to a bent knee. If you tend to struggle to pull a knee towards your chest, you can also grab a small hand towel to assist. And I'll grab one to give you a little bit of an example of that. All right, so let's get started. Lay down on your bed, lay down on the floor, and get comfy. Begin by just laying with your legs straight and your arms laid loosely by your sides. Close your eyes and take a moment to feel the way you're connecting to the surface behind you. Just notice the parts of you that feel lifted away from the surface beneath you, and the parts that feel most connected. And now, think to yourself, where are your hip joints? How do you perceive your hip joints? Slowly roll one leg slightly inwards and slightly outwards. Continue doing that rolling motion on one leg and notice where the movement occurs. Where is that movement within your hip joint? And does this rolling inward and outward of your leg feel easy? How much can you comfortably roll inwards? And how much can you comfortably roll outwards? go ahead and leave that alone. And do the same thing with your other leg. Slowly roll a little bit inwards and a little bit outwards. Notice if it feels different on this side compared to your other side. Is it easier for you to do the motion on this leg, or was it easier for you to do it on your other leg? Okay, leave that motion alone for now and slowly bend one leg at a time. Have your legs resting comfortably apart, your feet and your knees about hip width apart. And now, bring one knee slightly closer to your chest and interlace your hands over the front of your knee. Find a way to make this a restful position. If you find that this is uncomfortable, you can grab a thin rolled up towel, something like this, and you can wrap the towel over your leg. That way you're able to easily rest your arms and easily hold your leg. So modify like this if you find that this is easier for you, more comfortable. Always prioritize your comfort. If not, just continue to hold on to your bent knee. Allow your lower leg to just be relaxed and relax your shoulders. And slowly begin a motion of using your hands to draw your knee slightly towards your head and slightly away from your head. Think of it as an up and down motion. It is a small motion. It's something to give you a sense of where your hip joint is. As you continue to do this motion, do so slowly enough that you're able to remain in a calm and relaxed breathing rhythm. So just a few times, drawing your knee a little closer towards you and a little further away from you. And then go ahead and let that go. Bring your foot back down to the floor, relax your arms by your sides, and now take a moment to close your eyes and just observe. Did doing that simple movement give you a greater awareness as to where your hip joint is on that side? And when you're ready, grab on to the top of your knee again, interlaced hands. Take a moment, settle into it, relax through your shoulders, your jaw, your facial expression. And now use your hands to guide your knee slightly to the right and to the left. Whatever feels extremely easy. Think of it as a way for you to get a sense of the location of your hip joint. Where is it that your leg connects into your pelvis? And notice this movement capability that you have of your leg within your hip joint. And what amount do you go that feels easy, smooth, free of rigidity? As you do this motion, you're using your hands to guide your knees side to side, which creates a gentle motion in your shoulders. Pay attention to that. Because you can also pause for a moment, and this time you can say that it's your knee that's guiding your arms and shoulders into this motion. So rather than initiating from your hands, initiate from your leg, letting your leg go inwards and outwards. There's a lot of different ways to approach movement within ourselves. We can initiate from different places. We can time things differently. And we all do it in a way that's individual to ourselves. So it's important for you to discover the way you enjoy doing a movement. All right, let's go ahead and let that go. Lower your leg down, relax your arms by your sides, and let's actually take a moment to straighten the legs. I'm gonna tilt my legs out to the side before straightening them. that is something from my previous video. I hope you have watched that video first. And close your eyes and observe yourself. Is there a difference between what you feel in your right hip compared to your left hip? Is there a difference in sensation from one leg to your other leg? Go ahead and bring your legs back to a bend. Grabbing onto the same knee as before. This time though, if you are interlacing your hands around your knee, this won't apply to you if you're using the towel. If you are using your hands around your knee, switch over the interlacing of your fingers to a non-habitual interlacing, just to give yourself a sense of changing up things, changing up your pattern. And now use your hands to guide your knee into a smooth circle. Let it be something small, and close your eyes, and as you circle your knee, feel what is occurring within your hip joint. Where is the base of this circle? You feel your knee circling in space, but what's occurring deep in your pelvis? And focus on making it a very round, smooth circle, perhaps just about the size of a quarter, maybe a silver dollar, nothing too big. And once you've done that a few times, go ahead and reverse the circle. Your eyes open or close. It's as though you're trying to shine a flashlight within the joint and just explore the space within the joint. And now go ahead and leave that alone. Relax your arms down, lower your foot down, keep your legs bent if that's okay with you. And again, take a moment to notice if you're starting to get a different perception from one hip compared to the other hip. Again, grab onto the same leg. Non-habitually interlace your fingers if you're using your hands to grab your knee. And now you're going to circle not the knee, but your lower leg. So from your knee to your foot, the whole line of bone, draw a small circle in space. And notice what that feels like. What kind of movement does that create within your hip joint? And do you find that you're able to draw a round, complete circle, or is it a bit more of an oblong or oval shape? And if you find that it's not going as smooth as you want it to go, try smaller. Just try a smaller movement. And now reverse. As you are attending to how this motion moves within your hip joint, also attend to the rest of you. Are you at ease in your shoulders? Are you at ease in your breathing, in your facial muscles, your jaw, in your back? Take your time and do the motion in a way that feels somehow soothing to you, to your nervous system. Okay, let go of your leg, relax your arms by your sides, slowly straighten your legs. And again, is there a difference in sensation from one leg to the other leg? Take a moment to process and just rest. Slowly bring one leg to a bend at a time. And go ahead and grab onto the same knee. Non-habitually interlaced hands around your knee. And now you're going to keep your knee still in space and circle your forefoot. So think from about the middle of the foot towards your toes. That's the line of circling that you will be creating. Relaxing your shoulders, maybe close your eyes if it helps you connect. And start to draw a small circle with your forefoot, with the ball of your foot. It's a motion that is occurring in your ankle joint, but the initiation and the perception of it is occurring from the toes. Go about it small enough that you can really refine the circle to be perfectly round, perfectly smooth. Now go ahead and reverse the direction of the circle. Is it easier for you to go this direction, or was it easier for you to go the other direction? Oftentimes, we naturally choose the direction that's easiest for us. Always fun to notice. It's a learning process about your own self. You're learning your preferences. It's a deep dive into you. Indulge. We are not oftentimes encouraged to just get to know ourselves. Okay, leave that circle alone. Relax your arms down by your sides. And just take a moment to rest here with your knees bent. Grab onto the same leg. We're going to do everything on one leg before switching over. So you're holding your knee in space. You're going to keep your knee still in space. And now you're going to think about circling your heel. The heel of your foot is where the circle is coming from. It's going to be probably the smallest circle that we explore with. So imagine that you have a little marker sticking out of the center of your heel and start to draw a circle with the heel of your foot. And notice it feels completely different than when you were trying to circle your forefoot or the ball of your foot. It's somehow this same motion within your ankle, but it's entirely different because you're thinking about it coming from a different place. So does it just feel different, or is it actually different? I'll let you ponder on that. And go ahead and reverse that. And see again, can you make this a perfectly round circle? And if you find that it's a little bit jagged, it's coming out with some edges, make it smaller. Visualize it. Use your visualization to help you improve the quality to how you move. Okay, leave that one alone. Take a moment, straighten your legs, and just see, are you as a whole connecting differently to the surface that you're laying on compared to when you first started the lesson? If you are noticing a difference, please let me know in the comments. Share with me. I wonder at what point throughout the process you notice a difference, if you notice any difference at all. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it takes more lessons, more videos to really get connected to how we can create a change within ourselves through awareness. But I promise you, it is possible. So anyhow, bend one leg at a time. And guess what? We're going to grab onto the same leg. Interlace your fingers however you want, but again, relax into the position. And now let's return to the circling of the knee. Use your hands to help guide you into the circling of your leg. And once you find that you've gotten into a nice rhythm, your leg is circling easily within your hip joint, start to incorporate a circling of your foot. And how do you piece that together? And it's okay if it feels a little bit funky, a little bit messy. Don't look at how I'm doing it. Focus on how you're doing it. How do you create this idea of circling your knee in space as you circle your foot? So you can think of it as though your knee is drawing a circle on the ceiling in front of you, and your foot is drawing a circle on the wall beneath you, assuming that your foot is facing a wall, of course. And do you find that as you do these two combined circles, do you find that your lower leg is circling into it as well? Now go ahead and reverse that. Draw the circle with your knee in space. Get that going first. And now start to circle your foot. Find a way to equalize the timing in a sense, so you feel like it goes together in this sort of beautiful symphony within. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that alone. Relax your arms down, relax your foot down, and slide one leg straight at a time. And again, another body scan. What feels different compared to the beginning of this lesson? What feels different from one side to the other side? So let's see how this feels in standing. Maybe you're feeling a difference now. Maybe you need a little bit more support to feel it. Slowly bend one leg at a time. Go ahead and roll yourself off to whatever side is most comfortable and bring yourself to seated and eventually come up to standing. Walk around. And as you walk, do you feel a difference between one hip to the other hip? All right, let me know in the comments. Did you notice a difference from one hip to the other? Yes or no? I don't always expect it to be a yes. Everybody's going through a different learning experience. But either way, let me know so that we can just all share experiences together. So you'll notice that I didn't say right or left in the video. I did it that way so that you could just rewind the video and do your other leg. However, fun thing to note about Feldenkrais, oftentimes we won't do the lesson on both sides of ourselves because it gives us a learning experience when we are comprehending how deepened awareness allows us to function better through one side of us. It's a way of having something to compare to. And eventually, the nervous system will adapt onto the pattern that is most efficient. So if you don't have time to do the other leg, don't. And just see how it feels throughout the day. If it feels a little bit too funky, just like I said, go ahead, rewind it, and do the same thing for your other leg. If you like this video, if you like the way I teach, let me know by subscribing and I will continue to create videos. Until next time, here's to a happy, healthier, higher quality of life. Bye.